What's going on YouTube? J Lockhart here, back with a video. Uh, I wanted to thank all the new viewers from the Zoro uh, deck profile of my winning profile uh, from the local I did with 31 people. A little update. I did want to talk about the state of the deck in a sense, because keep in mind, uh, this is still a new game for us here at North America. Uh, it's still ongoing and changing, and then depending on the local you go to, it may vary on the type of players you get. People that are little more committed and experienced, or newcomers. And then I think with the Zoro deck in particular, we can take a look at my deck list again. Um, it's basically, yeah, it's basically depending on who you face, what kind of deck you're facing. And then I got a couple comments about what's the matchup like with blue, or in particular with Doffy. I My past experience, or for the first, I don't know, I've played Doffy quite a bit. I guess the kind of players I faced against are everyone's still new to the deck, but it's either the luck of the draw or uh, not really utilizing Doffy's abilities to its fullest. Um, I did a local, I think it was New Year's Eve. Yeah, I did a local for New Year's Eve. It was 4 rounds, and I got 2-0. No, sorry, 2-2, not 2-0, 2-2. So 2 wins, 2 losses. I think it was around 20 people. They cut it short just because it was New Year's and time. They were closing, so they didn't want to stay too late. Uh, the matches that I had that day. So I lost my first match, and it was against a Dofi. And I'll talk more about it, and I'll talk about more about matchups. Uh, my second matchup, I'm trying to remember my second matchup. I won that one, but it was, oh, it's Kaido. So Kaido, so Dofi, Kaido, as well as uh, oh, 4 rounds. Dofi, Kaido. I won against another deck. So Dofi, Kaido. It might be a mirror match. I can't even recall. It's kind of a blur. But in regards of my last matchup, it was just for the chance of X1. It was against a law deck, and the law deck is actually the first time I faced someone playing law in person. So it was a close matchup. It was more in favor of the law player, and then I just didn't see his final blow coming, and then that's just from not having experience against the deck. There was a lot more that law can actually pull off, and then it's a deck that I'm actually really looking into. I've already made a deck, and then if I'm not going Zoro for the Treasure Cup, I might go Law. Uh, it's either Law, uh, Zoro, or Kid. Those are my top three choices, and I do have until February 4th. Um, in regards of, uh, let's move my camera for a bit. We'll move it down here. So, in regards to my deck profile, my deck profile is really, really based on like early game rushing. So, uh, like because I guess I didn't explain it too well in my deck profile, but the three Sunny-kuns, the Sanji, Zoro, Luffy. uh, as well as Vivi, and then obviously Nico Robin. But my experience with Nico Robin, the second she's put on board, she's dealt with pretty quick. A lot of people already know how to deal with her. So uh, my experience now with the Zoro deck is trying to swing at least two characters, including the leader, including Zoro himself, uh, every turn. So, turn one, if I have a Sunny, I drop him over the Nami. Nami, I actually use when either I'm low on cards or I really need a card. So, Sunny, as well as Vivi and Choppers. So, like, Choppers is to really help protect my characters. Um, and then in regards of Otama and Law is great. I know he's a 4 drop, so he's more of mid game play. Because 4 is a lot to commit. But if mid game's happening, this is when, let's say, for example, my worst matchup so far is Kid. Dropping a 8 drop Kid, uh, you have to get rid of him because this deck only plays attacking leader. It doesn't really attack characters. So by the time mid game happens, if you don't have your opponent's life down to either 1 or no life, you're losing the game. Uh, this is all gas, but runs out quick. So yeah, it's the Mustang deck compared to, let's say, the blue deck where, or I think Croc is probably like the Civic, where you're really taking your time and it's more efficient, and then you're drawing and like preserving events, and like basically only using events to for defense. Um, but the Otama and Law is for basically the mix up with Round Table and Gum Gum Jet Pistol to get rid of that 8 cost Law. No, sorry, 8 cost Kid from the Kid deck. The the Queen blocker in the Kaido deck. Uh, Potentially the Boa and a lot of characters, because there's a lot of good 4 drop for blue decks, and then Dofi drops 4 drops for free. Well, technically 3 Dons, but he's swinging 7K every time. So, in regards of Robin's not good against blue decks in a sense, besides their blockers. They're like 1 to 2K blockers. Um, Red is the only deck that deals with the HP, mana slash attack power, where every other deck deals with the cost. So, for example, Nico Robin, KO one of up to your KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. So, utilizing Otama, Jet Pistol, Trafalgar, and Round Table is what is best with Robin if she sticks. So the way I set up gameplay is I I swing with leader or swing with my attackers that I have on board already, and then keep in mind they're going to be gone. The next turn, they're gone. There's no point of wasting resources to protect your characters uh, until you're at no life, right? So, which happens pretty early, which is mid game. Um, Zoro deck's mid game is Zoro's end game. So that's something you have to keep in mind if you're going to be playing like really aggressive rush. It works out. So when I won the local uh, last Wednesday, yes, last Wednesday, um, it was all the luck of the draw. Uh, Starting off strong with Sunny and Choppers, having Diablo Jambe in hand, like two of them consistently, and Jet Pistols and Round Tables and Otamas I've been pulling consistently and held in the hand. And it made my hand look big. So my opponent was always worried about how many counters I had. But funny enough, in hand, I had, besides the event cards, like all my attackers that don't have counter, besides this three drop 3K Luffy. Um, the reason why I play a card like this is that after swinging, and then I have enough Dawn to work with, I drop an attacker to set up for next turn. So sometimes Sanji, I don't even utilize the rush, so I can have two attackers at least for next turn. So being that aggressive, swinging between 5 to 9K every turn is how I play this deck, and then sometimes it's super overwhelming. So my previous video that I posted against the Doffy deck, uh, a lot of the times that I played blue, it turned out like that. Um, but in regards of, I think my local on New Year's Eve, uh, my my opponent was smart. He defended hard early, so I ran out of fume. I was It came to a point where I had to swing with Otama, putting like 5 or 6 Dawn on her just to attack again. I was like out of cards in hand, didn't have any other attackers. He was all set up. It was downhill for me. So keep in mind, this deck is nowhere to be perfect, and it is not like, I wouldn't say it's like top tier. I think the Zoro deck gets better by next set because of all the other red supporting cards that will make this a lot more consistent. This deck right now is really based of the luck of the draw. If you have a bad top deck, whether if it's too many Brooks, too many uh, Robins when it's not useful, uh, you're running dry pretty quick. So trying to save Zoro for later, where you can swing like hard for maybe 3 to 4 swings, including like Nami, Sunny, and Vivi. Like that's where the luck of the draw happens. And then if you don't have that Diable Jambe or Luffy or the Round Table and Otama to get rid of the big blockers, it's not fun at that point. So have fun with the deck, because if it gets going, it gets going. It's fun. But there is gonna be times we're gonna dead draw, and it's pretty bad. I am working on a potential slower version of this deck, adding more blockers. Let's take a look. I'm considering this Brook as well. So as like a 4K drop, attack next turn. You notice that he provides basically Otama and Law's effect every turn by giving a Dawn to him. So with a Dawn and Zoro's effect, it brings it up to 7K. I guess the magic number. Always going like swinging 2 over the character you're facing. So 7's always a good number. And then also bringing it down to another 2. So you can get rid of characters that are in your way with this brook if it sticks. It's also a 1K counter. Um, what else? I did add another round table. Like these 4 drops are more for mid game. So Law, round table, Brook. And then I can never pronounce his name properly. I always like hear his name in the anime, but I never really said it out loud myself. But Bart, I'm gonna call him Bart. Um, Another 2K, like a 2K counter. So just having a couple more blockers. Sorry, a couple more blockers because there are times where you're not gonna even see Chopper at all, and then if you use Nami, you might have to skip the Chopper if you needed the Luffy or um, the round table jet pistol. Uh, oh, actually, you can't get round table. The jet pistol and Diable. Uh, so another comment on one of my videos about Nami. Yes, you like I know. Um, so in the sim, they corrected the wording. It says reveal up to one Straw Hat Crew type card, where I have the physical, if I can find it. But basically, there is a lot of erratas, a ton actually. So you should take a look at the website for uh, the official One Piece card website. They have a news article about all the erratas. So take a moment to look at that. But the original, it's I don't have autofocus on, but the original card says reveal one Straw Hat Crew type character card. So that was confusing for most people. But yes, you can get an event that is a Straw Hat type. So Diable Jambe and Jet Pistol, you can grab that from Nami. So yeah, um, my experiences, like I wanted to dive more about matchups, and I think I'll do individual videos for each matchup because I've lost to every matchup. I think every matchup in person with the most popular decks. So Law, Dofi, Kaido, Kid are the decks I've lost to. I haven't lost, and a mirror match as well. I haven't lost to the Luffy leader, the Blurple, uh, the Blurple Kaido, and Blurple Croc. Um, the let's look at. I'm gonna load up the Law deck that I'm setting up here. The dual color. So Law is red and green, so you can play red and green cards. There's a lot of blurples, so blue and purple. But these dual leaders, you have 4 life. So for red decks like Zoro's, uh, they eat their life pretty quick. So Law sets up pretty late because he needs to have 5 characters on board to really utilize its effect. But once it's at that mid game and he can survive that last life or no life, he's swinging like 3 to 5 times in one turn. So that can be really bad for Zoro if they wasted all their resources because they're finally at that last life. So Law's interesting because of how many times it can swing. It does utilize Rush. So to swap them out because of his ability. It's an interesting deck, which is why I'm kind of considering of switching over to law. But other decks, I have like most of the decks pre-made here. Like a familiar a Doflamingo deck is something like this, where they do have quite a lot of draw engine as well as event defenses, blockers. Um, so if you're not drawing the right cards to get rid of blockers or avoid the blockers with Zoro, you're it's a bad matchup. Like it'll be hard. It'll be tough. Um, the uh, I don't know why I have three Crocs. I would switch out the Crocs. The Mihawk, where you can basically send any card, most of the cards to their bottom of their deck is crazy. So having that Luffy, the Zoro that's being sent to the bottom, or even their like Zoro's blockers that you utilize to have that last defense, Mihawk is getting rid of it. Same with Teach. Uh, Teach, uh, return a character to with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. That's most of the Zoro deck. So Teach is annoying. Mihawk in the like mid late game, and then a bunch of blockers like this law, Flamingo, uh, Boa. The Kuma is annoying too because you don't want to swing into it because they might set up a 6K Pacifista, which could be pretty bad against defending because you have to waste 2K resources on a Pacifista and then they can just slap another Dawn. And then as well as if the Flamingo player is smart, they would every time they use the ability, they're swinging for 7. So if there isn't much of a character on the board for Flamingo to swing to, they should always swing at Zoro's life because for a Zoro player, they're gonna have to take the life. They don't have too many 2Ks they want to waste. So like Otama, uh, if I have an Otama in hand, I don't want to get rid of that card because I need that to get rid of the blockers, um, like Kuma and Boa. So there's a lot that you have to kind of work around with. So if you're swinging hard early, like 5K swings at least per turn, early games by turn two, uh, and they're not heavily blocking you or countering you, then you got that game. But if they're protecting their life and then it's mid game and then you've only taken like 2 life, there's 3 life left, there's no way for you to catch up because they can keep swinging past your attackers and then returning your blockers to your hand. So it is a bad matchup. Uh, it just depends on the person you play and how they play it. So yeah, bad matchup with Flamingo. Going to the Kid deck. I've already explained Kid as well. Uh, Kid with the double attack. If you're at like if it's mid game and they have the 8 drop Kid, uh, you can't swing at leader anymore. You have to attack this Kid no matter what. And then if they have other blockers like this killer with a Dawn on it, one, they're using this killer to draw, which is great for them. They also have the law to use its ability and be a blocker to also drop, let's say, um I'm happy it shows Cat Viper, but yeah, Cat Viper to rest 3 costs or less, which is most of the cards you use in Zoro. So it is a pretty bad matchup. So if you by the time they get 9 or 10 Dawn to drop the kid down, if they're at last life, you have to hope and pray that you already have Diable Jambe, Otama, as well as Jet Pistol in hand. Like if you don't have those cards, then you're also not having a good time. So that's the bad matchup with Kid. It's my toughest matchup. Uh, Going to Kaido. Kaido, the the 10 drop, obviously by the time the 10 drop it like is happening, your established board that in most other games you don't really get to have a full established board. Um, but with Kaido, they'll just wipe it. So all your are gone. It's a 12k, like a yeah, it's a 12k swinger. So you can't get rid of it. So and the ability to -7 Dawn to get to trash a life. That's late game, mid game is tough for Zoro. So I know with Zoro early game all the way to mid game, you're constantly swinging at life, uh, doing Jet Pistol to get rid of his best blocker slash attacker. Uh, it's pretty easy, but the King, either the 6 drop or 7 drop, really gets uh, pretty bad on your board. So if they're able to establish one of each, a queen, and then even this Kaido, this rush Kaido, that allows them to uh, KO a character and have rush to swing at 10k, it's it's hard in the mid, like late mid to late game. It's not possible. But because you're so aggressive early on, Zoro should have the upper hand until if you have a bad top deck or draw, then Kaido wins. But other than that, most of the times Zoro wins, from my experience. Do I have any other decks loaded? There goes the camera. Uh, Not at the moment. There is Blurple. It's not this killer, but the other killer. But this one's interesting too. -4 Dawn, and then return one character with a cost of 5 less. Uh, that could be annoying, but what Croc really deals with is being open to be attacked, and excuse me, if they have a Dawn attached to it, they get uh, they get to draw. So they're getting a gigantic hand, a lot of blockers. Um, Miss All Sunday Nico Robin here uh, allows her to get a card, like event card back from trash. Um, Miss Doublefinger or Zala, uh, on KO, she draws. So there's a lot of cards, especially events, like a lot of events like this card. Um, I think I was playing someone last night on the sim where they pulled this card from life. And the trigger was to return a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. Uh, they brought back, I think they brought back their own character that they didn't want to be knocked out, and then yeah, it was weird. I didn't see it coming, but there's so many events where they can either draw or organize the top of their card. Uh, so another blue deck that you can potentially have a rough time with. Um, Yeah, this card return a 7 cost or less to the owner's hand. I don't see a lot of people playing this, unless it's pulling off a life. But it's very defensive, even though it seems like it's not, because they're only dropping uh, blockers and where's the blurple one? It's only dropping blockers, and then they don't swing with characters that much unless they like drop a Mihawk. So Blurple Croc has been interesting. I haven't experienced a well experienced Croc player in a sense of losing to one so far, but you never know. That might happen tomorrow or Wednesday for me. Someone might come well experienced, and I can finally see how it plays, and potentially lose to it. I've faced. It's funny. Ever since the local I won, I faced this Kaido more times now than I've ever had. Um, it's interesting, but at the same time, I don't really care. Sure, they can get done active early, but for life, I just like the Kaido deck, the normal starter deck Kaido. Where is he? Am I blind? Yes, he's not here. So the starter deck Kaido, um, it's because it has 5 life. Going down to 1 or no life is quite easy early on. So with Zoro against the Blurple one, uh, it's hard for them. So yeah, those have been my matchups. I've lost to most of them, and then they're learning experiences. So my deck is not top tier or anything, so just keep that in mind. Uh, but we'll see. Like I'm gonna play a couple more matches with my traditional Zoro deck, and then showcase wins, losses, any closer matches. I think the couple of videos I have out, there's a lot of people either still learning or not used to the simulator yet. Um, I've also already been talking for half an hour now, but this is my experience with the Zoro deck. So if you stuck around this far, thank you. Um, all the new subscribers and viewers, it's booming, and I've been pretty happy with it. So thank you for everyone with that. Um, but keep in mind top, my original deck profile. It's a winning local one, but it's not the best one. It's literally the luck of the draw. I had the perfect draws in every game. I had everything I needed to deal with multiple kids, multiple uh, heavier attackers, and then was able to swing life big every time. So I was lucky that day, but I don't. It's never going to be consistent. So yeah. All right, kid matchup. Uh, Pretty good starting hand. I think we'll keep it. So we're going second. 2 Utas, not the best ideal start, but we'll start with Vivi. And then we can use Uta soon. Swinging at life, we'll take it. A lot of Zoros, okay. The Sunny Kun. So we can swing at. Okay, to be honest, oh, it's too late now. I should jet pistol the Okiku, but I can get rid of it next turn. Swing 6k at life. I should have attacked with VV first. They're probably gonna block this one or counter. Yep. Still have 3 Dawn left. We'll set up the Sunny and Chopper. And you know what? It's okay to not use up all your Dawn, but you can still do it. I you can like I could have swung 7 with Zoro, um, and potentially took life further. Um, let's see what they're gonna do here. Either gonna like rest my blocker. They're gonna attack Vivi, which is fine. They were rested Chopper. That's fine, and that's it for them. So we can use two jet pistols. So this is what I mean, like having the better uh, hand to hold on to. Um, but what we're gonna do is get rid of the Kiku. So we're not really swinging at life this turn. They're gonna block so they can draw. I would. They know they are losing. Oh, they countered it. Interesting. I would potentially like to get. Wow. Okay. Okay. Screw it. We're jet pistoling. To get rid of it there, because if I put a Zoro in swing, they're gonna KO both my attackers. So I'm okay with them. They can't even swing at life, to be honest. So next turn, we're gonna probably drop Uta uh, to get back uh, probably Chopper. But I'm surprised they kept that blocker. They're gonna draw 2 cards with these searchers here. Wow. Okay, another blocker. They're gonna swing 5k at Sunny, and they can swing again. I doubt they would do that. They'll probably have maybe an event card. They're swinging with Killer. Okay, that's fine. And then we'll probably take this. We got a Sunny. Okay, we can save Uta and just swing quite a bit. Put 1 and swing at Bonnie. I think this is now when I get to drop. Yeah. And then I'll drop Zoro to swing at life. They can't. Well, they can use an event card, but I wouldn't waste it on Bonnie. I don't know what they're waiting for here. Because I can set up another Zoro and then Chopper. So swing 6 to. I can. Yeah. I could have swung to Momonosuke, but. Okay, sets to active. That's fine. and then put in the chopper. Okay. Killer, not killer, X Drake. And they rested our blocker. But they're at one card. Um, yeah, we're gonna have to. We can use the Uta to get one of the. Ooh, okay. One of the Zoros back. I can. Okay, so on block, I can get rid of the blocker. Wait, so I have 10, 4. I have 2 to deal with. Okay, I can get the Uta. Use the Uta to get another blocker. Um, yeah. We have 6 Dawn left. We're gonna jet pistol this so they don't draw. 5k. They can't really do anything for that, so they wouldn't waste their last card to block. So they're gonna take life. They have to. The X Drake was interesting. Because the Momonosuke, they can keep using Momonosuke, but drop these 2. But it will bring their uh, kids back to the bottom if they like draw into it. My nephew is screaming. Oh, okay. There is the Okiku. They drew another Okiku. Okay. The X Drake. It's gonna be interesting. Um, we'll actually counter this. And then they're probably gonna swing again. Okay, we get the Nami, which is perfect. I wouldn't swing again because they're discarding to swing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what can we do here? They don't have blockers, which is great. I think we should deploy Nami first to see what we get. Diablo Jambe would be perfect. But another... yeah. We're getting this Anji. Okay. So, let's attack first. So, 6 to the Drake. Get rid of him. He's the heaviest attacker. Oh, and they... and then Russ up. Okay. Wow. That kind of screwed things up. That's fine. We'll swing at life. They take it. So we have 7. Yeah. Who am I replacing? We'll replace Nami. I think it's best to swing at Lutton. No, we have to get rid of this Drake just because I have 2 life left. I have blockers, but they have 2 Okikus. So it's not the best ideal. They get to. I think they're probably. If they were smart, they would start swinging at life. Because I only have 2 cards in hand. They're all. Because of Momonosuke, they're only playing Wano cards. If they drop the 8 drop kid, that's where we're screwed. So Kiku, both of them, gonna have to block with one of them. Might as well. So block with this. They're gonna get rid of it anyways. Sanji's at 4, so there's really no point. They can finally swing with Izu as well. At least they're not swinging at life. But they still have 8 Dawn. He's gonna swing at the Sunny for 8. No, so he's swinging at. Yeah, he's swinging at life. Resolve attack. Oh, I was supposed to counter. That was a mistake. Um, Now he's gonna go for game, but I do have. Oh, he discarded it. Interesting. So no blocker. Uh, Perfect math. All right. First off, he has 2 cards in hand, so I think it's best to swing 6 with Uta to life. I basically have to technically go for game here. If he can draw into the counters he need, then I lose. I'm surprised he got rid of the kid. Oh. He has to take life. I have 7 left. It's better. Okay, well, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the rest on Sanji. Okay. Oh, they disconnected. They couldn't have let me ended it, but I think the just looking in this matchup, it was smart for them to swing at life because they could have got it, but I like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like my hand was a little bit big, and the life I took, I had enough counters to survive, even though my blocker was rested. Um, I also was really surprised they didn't drop the 8 drop. Yes, the Okiku will rest the blockers. I think if they actually swung at my attackers, I think they jumped the gun a little too early. So, um, yeah, that should have been a bad matchup for me. Um, but we'll take it. So like this can happen in person, right? So either they decide to get rid of that kid just so they can swing more, um, and then dispense their Dawn more, or they could have been more defensive and played another turn. Because for sure, if they drop the kid, um, and waited one more turn and then attacked all my characters, I didn't have the cards to defend them all. So I wouldn't have enough swingers to actually win the game. So that was lucky for me. And yeah. All right. Finding a second match. We're recording. We're doing a ditto. Uh Sometimes going second's better, but because you can set up more. But we'll go first. We'll keep. Everything is pretty good in hand. We're gonna drop the Sunny first, so we have 2 attackers next turn. So we're swinging in twice. Oh, interesting. 1 drop 3K. So it's the same thing as Sunny, but the thing is about this character, you can't search it on Nami, which is why I play Sunny. Um, it's smart to have this because he's able to swing at this to get rid of my character, but will be set up a little bit more. We're going to be ahead a little bit more. They're probably going to take life here and then, oh no, counter here and then life next. Decisions. Thinking a little too long. Or they might not be paying attention. But it's great to see like people experimenting with other cards. They take life, surprisingly. Um, do they have? Oh, I think that was a waste. Um, I would have kept the jet pistol for a more, because they could have just swung. They took life twice. They could have just swung with coma there. I already have a jet pistol. Don't need round table. I think a blocker is more important than anything right now. But that was my turn. Tama, I don't really need, but they do have a bigger hand now that they can kind of just hold off on. Because I'm definitely taking 1 life for sure, but I don't think Otama is necessary at the moment or in this matchup because most of them are under 5K, besides potentially Shanks and do no blocker. All right, that's fine. We can get rid of so we're definitely jet pistoling. They didn't swing with him. Interesting. We're definitely jet pistoling. How many do I have? So I only have one Dom left. So we'll swing 5 at life. Yeah, the Robin is an issue. So this is what I mean. The second you play Robin, like I'm gonna waste my resource trying to get rid of it, which I would like to play in this turn. This person's really either thinking the math. There goes my camera. Um, they're thinking really ahead of time. Okay, they take life. That's interesting. Uh, do they have another? Okay, your leader gains one. Okay, so he's at 6. I'm not swinging at him again because we're doing that and doing that. There we go. So at this point, they're probably going to be dropping a Zoro. And if they're swinging with 6, I am probably going to counter with Otama. But what are they keeping in their hand? This reminds me of one of the locals I played, and what do you call it? They held their hand so much. Uh, we'll take it. No trigger. But this one will counter the 2K. And a blocker. So we'll get rid of him. They actually defend it. Interesting. Um, we have 6 to deal with. I can swing with both. Or set up the... well, okay. 6. They're probably going to counter now. This is when they can be defensive. But they really do think quite long. I feel like Zoro players are more just like, all right, let's go, let's go. But they do have quite a few swingers for next turn. These are probably Nami to Nami. Dawn on this. KO. Chopper. They take life. Um, we'll see what they do. Guard point's interesting. They waste a 2K counter. I think it'll probably be best to not use Zoro. Okay. Let's see what they'll do here. They have 9, 8 on to deal with. If they were smart, they'll swing with Robin first. Because, okay, yep. Robin to Zoro. Yeah, Robin to Zoro, KOing Chopper. And then I would put a Dawn on Coma to get rid of. No, actually, yeah. So that one's the right play. To the Zoro. 7K to the Zoro. That's fine. I can use the Otama to get rid of. Actually, no. Well, at this point, we're swinging at life. Um, Otama we might actually use. So they're swing 7. Take life from. Oh, okay. Take it. You can actually preserve my. I'm actually going to counter this. Ooh, 2 choppers. Interesting. Um, ooh, the second chopper really screwed things up. So I have 3 swings, 1 blocker. So what I can do, I have 7 to deal with. 5, 6, 7. Swing at life, get rid of a blocker. So now they have to block or get rid of a life because they're not going to waste 2 cards. Okay, perfect. Swing 7, 3. So I'm going to swing 7 twice. Okay. Oh, they conceded. Okay. Yeah, it's. I think they were. I don't know what they had in hand, but that was a bit weird on their end. I want to experience a loss to show you guys. This is not an OP best deck. This is how I play it. My uh, my thought process. Um, but I want to face a little bit more closer matches. But I guess I'll focus on finding one and then posting it separately. So uh, yeah, a couple more games with this deck that I'll be posting, and then I might switch it up to the Law one because it really intrigues me. So if you stuck around to the end of this video, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Um, if you agree with me in regards of like the state of the Zoro deck, like the matchups that I was talking about earlier, like how it could be quite hard for any matchup. It's just gambling. It's poker. That's the way I see it. I'm gonna bluff, or I'm gonna read their bluffs, and I'm just gonna go all in every turn, basically. So that's how I see Zoro. And in gambling, it's always house rules, always wins. So as long as you're setting the tone, because if you're following their tone, then they're gonna win. So yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.